Have you ever looked at a really long Japanese word and just thought, whoa, where do I even begin with that? I get it, you're definitely not alone. But what if I told you that building those words is actually super simple and, dare I say, kind of fun? Let's break it down.
So what's the secret? How does the language create these incredibly dense, meaningful words? Is it some kind of super complicated, high-level grammar magic that you need a PhD to understand?
Nope, not at all. The secret is way more intuitive, and honestly, once you see it, it's a total game changer. The absolute best way to think about it is like building with Legos. You're just taking small, simple pieces and snapping them together to create something bigger and cooler. That's it. That's the whole key. This one simple idea that words are like Legos is going to unlock this entire system for you. So, think about it. You've got your basic single bricks, words like hana for flower or tori for bird. They work perfectly fine on their own, but the real magic happens when you start combining them. You take the hana brick for flower and you snap it onto the taba brick, which means bunch, and boom, you get hamataba, a bouquet. It's that straightforward. Okay, so if we're building with Legos, we gotta know what our main bricks are, right? So let's take a look at the most fundamental pieces in our Japanese word building set. Now, in the world of linguistics, this main piece is called a goki, or a word base. Just think of it as your standard classic 2x4 Lego brick. It's the foundation. It's the piece that carries the core essential meaning of whatever it is you're trying to build. And hey, look at these. These are the exact pieces we were just talking about. Hana, taba, tori, kago. Every single one is a word base, a solid, reliable brick of meaning. And what's really cool is that most of these can also just be used by themselves as standalone words, kind of like how a single Lego brick can still be its own little thing. All right, we've got our standard bricks down. But you know, any good Lego kit isn't just the boring blocks. The real fun is in the specialty pieces, right? The wings, the wheels, the little transparent bits that just change everything. Well, language has those too. These special pieces are called setsuji, or affixes. An affix is like a modifier brick. It can't really be a word all by itself. It has to snap onto a word base, one of our main bricks. But when it does, it adds a whole new layer of meaning, or it can even completely change what kind of word you're making. And these special bricks basically come in two flavors. First, you've got prefixes, which, you guessed it, snap onto the front of a word base. So you can take fuyu, which means winter, snap the prefix ma on there, and you get mafuyu, midwinter. Then you've got suffixes, which snap onto the back. You take the adjective samui, meaning cold, add the suffix sa, and it transforms into the noun samusa, or coldness. And this brings us to a really important point. Suffixes are powerful. They're kind of the boss. While a prefix might just add a little extra flavor, a suffix can fundamentally change what a word is. It's the piece that can turn a verb into a noun or an adjective into a verb. It really dictates the final shape of your creation. But hey, let's not sleep on prefixes. They add all sorts of awesome flavor. They can add emphasis, turning ataru, to hit, into buchi ataru, to slam into something. They can add negation, like the fu in fuseijutsu, which makes it mean dishonest. They can even add a layer of politeness, like the honorific o you see in ohanashi. So cool. Okay, so we've got our basic bricks and our special pieces. Now what? How do we actually put them all together? Well, every Lego set has an instruction manual, right? And so does word formation. Let's check out the blueprints. And you know what? It really just boils down to two main ways of building things. First, you can take a word base and combine it with another word base. That makes what we call a composite word, just like our hanataba example. Or, second, you can take a word base and snap on an affix, one of those special pieces. That gives you a derived word, like samusa. That's pretty much the whole game. So let's do a quick build, just to make this crystal clear. You take your first brick, hana, flower. You grab your second brick, taba, bunch. You snap them together and there it is. You've just built hanataba, a bouquet. It's simple, it's logical, it just makes sense. In this building process follows some really common sense patterns. You can stick two nouns together, like natsu for summer and matsuri for festival, to get natsumatsuri, a summer festival. Or a verb and a noun, like ko, to keep a pet, and inu, dog, which gives you kai inu, a pet dog. It's really just simple addition. Okay, now for a little pro tip. Because language isn't always perfectly neat and tidy, right? It's flexible. And just like a really creative Lego builder might use a wheel piece as an eyeball, sometimes the function of these word bricks can get a little blurry. Check this out. Let's look at the word uchi kiru. It comes from the verb utsu, which means to hit. So, in the first example, when you uchikiru a tree branch, you are literally hitting and cutting it. Makes sense. But now look at the second example. When you uchikiru a business deal, you're not physically hitting anything. Here, the uchi has lost its literal meaning. It's changed its job. Now it's acting like a prefix that just adds emphasis. You are decisively breaking off the deal.
So, after this quick masterclass, you've basically just been given a new superpower. Let's talk about what this new skill actually unlocks for you. You can now look at one of those long, seemingly complex words and actually see the underlying structure. It's not just a scary wall of text anymore. You can see the individual bricks, the gokei and the setsuji, and you can actually understand how they were put together to create meaning. You can see the code behind the word. So, from now on, whenever you see a new word, just remember this. It's not magic, it's architecture. Every single complex word out there is just a collection of simple Lego bricks, all snapped together with a purpose. So the real question I have for you is this. With this new linguistic X-ray vision, what other hidden structures and cool patterns are you going to start seeing in the world around you now that you actually know how to look?